Yo, what is up, y'all? Mental Muscle Coach here, and I got a fun video for you guys today. How the hell is it that hypnosis works? The large majority of us at some period of time has seen a representation or expression of a hypnotist engaging with someone and doing some pretty amazing things. Maybe you saw them at an event, or maybe you saw them in a YouTube video where they might have had a participant, in front of a crowd, and they might have put them to sleep or caused them to talk or do strange things, or maybe even alter their behaviors in a way that seemed shocking. And many of us ask, when we see that kind of stuff, it's like, is that really real? Are they really doing that? And now, mind you, obviously there's times where, people do skits, especially now with social media and everything. A lot of this stuff is bullcrap, but ultimately hypnotism is real, and it's something that is backed by immense science and is used in therapy. I mean, there is literally a body of therapeutic work called hypnotherapy that has, rendered a lot of great results for a myriad of people. So essentially, how does it work? What the hell is going on here? Okay, let's get into it, right? The first thing to think about when we're coming to understand hypnosis and what it's doing on the physiological and neurological level is we need to be aware of the importance and relevance of brain states. You see, our brain is not in some static state from day to day, from moment to moment even. We tend to think that, okay, I'm either awake or I'm sleeping, and so that's the state that I'm conducive to functioning in. But no, there's a wide array of brain states that are related to the activities that may need to be done at a certain period of time, that are related to our circadian rhythm, and again, the times of the day, where our brain is needed to perform such a wide variety of functions that being able to enter into different states allows it to be most effective in performing these functions at the time at which the functions need to occur. Like, for example, when we're sleeping, our brain is in a state called delta state, which is conducive to not being conscious, but rather the subconscious is definitely present. And there's a lot of things involved in sleep and in delta state, like regulation, like, regeneration, things like that. There's also then theta state, which is the state after we wake up, right after we wake up, but then right before we go to sleep as well, which is called the state of relaxed awareness. So that's an important one. When we're waking up and we're just going about our day, our normal waking state throughout the day is called beta state. And there's a whole bunch of other ones, well, not really a whole bunch, but there's other ones that are very, very relevant, like alpha state and gamma state. But for now, we're gonna focus on delta state and theta state, all right? So tying this back into hypnosis, hypnosis is basically relaxing the nervous system to cause the brain to enter states that are more conducive to sleep. And so notice I mentioned delta state and theta state. Theta state being the state of relaxed awareness, and delta state being the state of sleep. And so here's something to consider, right? I've mentioned to you guys many times before that listening to positive affirmations, listening to things that are positive or reaffirming or empowering or can even educate you to some extent can be valuable when we're sleeping. Because when you listen to these messages while you're sleeping, it's hitting your subconscious. Why? Because you're in delta state. I've also mentioned the importance of removing your phone right before you go to sleep and right after you wake up. Why? Because you're in theta state, which is synonymous with not only the state of relaxed awareness, but it's also synonymous with hypnosis. It is considered the state of hypnosis. So when a hypnotist is engaging with a client or a participant, basically what they're doing is they're manipulating and leveraging the participant's breathing, respiration, or their level of calm to be able to bring them back into that mental state that is close to sleep, whether it be theta or delta. And ultimately, this is causing them to lose that sharp association with space and time. It's almost creating like a dreamlike state. And this is powerful because now that they're in that dreamlike state, now that they're in these brain states of theta state and or delta state, now it is creating a situation in which that hypnotist can essentially reach into the subconscious of that person. The subconscious, the thoughts, the behaviors, the actions, the conditioned elements of us that we define as our personality. Those elements of us that are kind of hardwired. Now we have a window into the subconscious. And through that, the hypnotist can become a guide. They can become a manipulator in a sense, not in a negative way, but in a way that is conducive to power and transformation, that they are able to help guide the thoughts. They are able to help guide this dreamlike state. So they're kind of bringing focus and attention to this place of rest. And what happens when you bring attention and focus to a state of rest and relaxation? You create the opportunity for neuroplasticity, for brain change. And this is where you see an hypnotist altering a person's behavior. And so they may be giving them guided messages or guided instructions during the time of being at rest, so to speak, when they're in that state where they're kind of knocked out or kind of close to it. And then they wake up and maybe they're behaving differently. Maybe they notice that there's something like, let's say, for example, if they're trying to achieve a smoking cessation, suddenly they feel like they've lost that desire to smoke because it's almost as if, they've implanted a message, so to speak. I know this sounds kind of crazy, but when we understand the power of the subconscious, we see that this is actually possible. So, okay, if you didn't listen to any of the science shit that I just said, don't worry about it. Here is the thing that you can take from this, regardless if you're interested in hypnotism or not, and you can take these elements and apply them to your life holistically because it has incredible value. This is what I want you to hear. That when it comes to that state of relaxed awareness, that state of being at rest, so the state that is, conducive to sleep or conducive to being close to sleep, where you're just calm and you're relaxed and you're not overly stressed, there's not a whole bunch of craziness going on in your mind, you're just at a state of rest. That is the state that is conducive to changing your brain. That is the state that is conducive to overcoming those rigid, hardwired parts of yourself that are like the unwanted parts of your personality, so to speak. You can mold those, and the optimal state to do that is in these restful states. But it's not like when we sleep, neuroplasticity just happens. It's not like when we're just really relaxed. It's not like our brain starts, altering itself. It just doesn't do it in and of itself because you're relaxed. That is the optimal state to do it. But in order to activate, in order to trigger that neuroplasticity, we need focus. We need attention. And the way that manifests within the brain neurologically is we need acetylcholine and norepinephrine. Norepinephrine creates this sense of urgency, and acetylcholine creates this, it's almost as if, the spotlight of awareness gets tighter, it gets honed in, kind of like conducive to focus. And so when we look at acetylcholine and we look at norepinephrine showing up, now we're able to bring focus and greater attention to that state of relaxed awareness, and that's what's happening in hypnotism. But the hypnotist's job is to bring that attention, to bring that focus to the state of being relaxed. And that's why they're guiding the client. That's why they're guiding the participant. They're telling them particular things. They're giving them instructions. They're giving them cues. They're altering different triggers. And so when you bring awareness and focus into rest and relaxation, you create the optimal state for brain change. And that's essentially what hypnotism is leveraging. And so now, mind you, let me repeat, not every hypnotist you've seen is real. People are not all equally susceptible to hypnotism. Our brain being able to enter different brain states, that's not the same for everyone. There are people who are very responsive where, the hypnotist can give a few cues, they can, engage a few triggers, and ultimately they can get that person sleeping like a baby. And then there's other people that are like non-responders where, they can employ a whole bunch of stuff and they just don't respond. So I'm not saying that hypnotism is magic. It definitely has much room to evolve and, get better essentially. But the great thing is that this is something that's cool. It's something that's used in therapy, and it's just badass, man. I mean, if I could learn hypnotism, I might try. I might see if there's a course or something that I could take. But hey, man, it's just dope stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, man. I love y'all. Peep this, like, share, spread the word, whatever. But I love you. Mental Muscle Coach out. Peace.